everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Warrior 2. In the last part, we added the princess to our party, completing our party of 3, and now we're going to continue on for things to do. Now, the tower here, which is called the Dragon's Horn, by the way, there's a guy on the first floor you can talk to that I'll tell you that. There's a weird difference with it here over in the Game Boy Color version. You notice right here, I'm going around in a spiral, going up and up, pretty much like a spiral staircase. In the Game Boy Color version, say you start on the bottom left of the floor and the exit's in the bottom right, on the next floor you'll be the exact opposite. Anyway, we got a new enemy here, Demi-Ghosts. 48 HP and have a chance of dropping a chain sickle. They can also deal critical hits against you, which not all enemies can in this game. So watch out for that. That can be kind of dangerous. And immediately we got a new enemy, another new enemy, Medusa Balls. 42 HP, have a chance of dropping an antidote herb. They can put you to sleep, and you can put them to sleep, if I recall correctly. Well, no, you can put them to sleep. I don't recall if they can put you to sleep, though. I know they can do something. And they also look really weird. Getting Gygas flashbacks for some reason. Ooh, someone leveled up. Sweet. And she learned a new spell. I forget which one that is. Let's take a look. Repel. That pretty much works like it sounds. Lower level enemies will have a lower chance of coming into contact with you. Not overly useful, to be honest. Because this is a game where you want to level grind eventually anyway, so you might as well fight all the battles you can. Now, this is why you need the Cloak of Wind. Because when you fall off a building like this, it sends you 2 spaces farther than it would normally. So you need to get across that. You can sell it now, you don't need it anymore, actually. But in case you sold it before you did that, key items like that do respawn in the chests, so you don't need to worry about that. And welcome to the town of Left Lane, I think? Or is it Lanepin? I don't remember. Let me check my notes. Either way, you're gonna wanna sleep at the inn here. This is Leonport, that's it. That guy there, that's the House of Healing, but in the Game Boy Color version, you can talk to him to save. Hey, this guy's from Alefgard. If you guys remember, that's the kingdom from the last game. That's a lottery to the right. Ooh, a ship that we can never use. And, oh, look, that person's being attacked by gremlins. Let's just ignore them. There are a couple purchases I want to make. The Wizard's Wand you can use as an item to cause some damages, but, but it's not worth it. Steel Shield isn't either. However, the Clothes Hiding, which I don't get that name, is a really good upgrade for, Numor and, PETA. I really want to call them by Cannock and Moonbrook for some reason. Because I don't think any of these characters actually have a canon name. As far as I'm aware. I know the main character Dragon Quest III onwards does, but that's about it. And we want to sell some items here, but we also want to buy some stuff from him eventually, I think. I'm too lazy to go look back at my notes again. Oh, you know what's gonna be funny? We're gonna be spending all the gold that I have from selling all these items. Pretty much about to spend it all because, yeah, actually we do want to buy some stuff from him, actually. I just remembered. We want to buy a Dragon's Bane from him for everyone. If you remember the Dragon Scale item from the last game, it's essentially the same thing. It's an accessory that cuts spell increases your spell resistance by 50%. Stop spell and sleep will now work on you less often. Very useful. I think it's a complete 50% increase, so I recommend getting that. Doesn't cost too much, but if you don't have enough money, you can just grind some of the enemies outside anyway. Because this is the point in the game when you're easily getting at least 100 gold per battle. Anyway, now let's go rescue this person. And time for the enemies we saw back in Part 1 attack Moonbrook Castle, Gremlins. Have about 60 HP, they can drop a Wing of Wyvern. They have the Burst Breath spell, which pretty much is fire damage on everyone, which can actually be really painful. And their physical damage isn't too bad either. Putting them to sleep is a good option. I don't think Stop Spell works on them at all, really. And obviously physical damage does really well against them. Not too bad. I'm not sure why a castle filled with trained knights fell to these guys, but okay then. We could follow her to her grandfather, but I want to talk to this guy really quick first. Because he'll tell us pretty much the next location we want to go, which is the Kingdom of Alefgard from the last game. Oh, wow, they actually bring mention to Gwaelin. And he's gonna lend us his ship. So for the first time in the Dragon Quest series, and I think one of the first times in our JRPGs in general, we get to pilot a ship, because I forget whether this came out first or Final Fantasy 1 did. I'm too lazy to look it up. But now we can fly across the oceans, and what's our first destination? Directly to the right. Well, a bit up a bit and directly to the right, more accurately. Right around here. Well, this song sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's the Overworld theme from Dragon Quest 1, and that looks familiar. Welcome back to Tactical Castle from Dragon Quest 1, everyone. And guess who's also back? Well, first off, this is the save point. The king's on in his chamber for plot reasons that we'll find out later. So I'm just saving here just as a convenient return point. The actual House of Healing guy is to the south of us. But since this guy's Tactical Castle is pretty much the same as it was in the last game, meaning that this guy right here still completely recharges our MP free of charge. There is, if you remember correctly, there was a town next to Tactical Castle back in Dragon Quest 1. I forget what the name of it was. I think I just called it the town of Tactical. That is actually here as well, but it's not a separate entity. It's fused with the castle as a place. You can also talk to some people in here, and you'll realize that Peta looks almost exactly like Princess Gwaelin. That guy there will uncurse you free of charge. And the town looks almost exactly the same as it did back in the first game. In fact, the inn still costs 6 gold, so it's really good if you want to grind around here. That's where the king is. Well, I'll be doing that, talking to him later. Now, I already have all the equipment I want for right now, but right now I want to do some gold grinding. I want to have around 5,000 golds. You can get away with 1,500 to 2,000, but I'm just being overly safe. As for good places to grind, I recommend the hills at the bottom of the screen right now, because you can get at least 100 gold per battle there. And in doing so, I got like 3 levels. Now, would you call what I am? Overleveled? Maybe. This game is hard enough to warrant it, though. Not as hard as Final Fantasy 2, though. And we got some new enemies here. Sea Slugs and Man-of-Wars. Sea Slugs have around 32 HP, can drop a copper sword, which is pretty useless at this point, honestly. And if I recall correctly, they have the ability to call for more of their own kind, so watch out for that. And the Man-of-Wars have around 20 HP, can drop Wing of Wyverns, and I think they might have a heal spell? I'm not entirely sure about that, though. Not too hard of enemies. In fact, the ocean areas, in general, have really low encounter rates. And also, if you're wondering how I got the ship over to Tactical Castle, you can either ride it around the exact opposite way I'm doing right now, or if you talk to the save point guy like I did, if you cast Return outside the castle, the ship will be there for you. How it gets there, I don't know. But yeah, pretty much this island below us is the exact same big continent we were on in the entirety of the first game, Alefgard. It's very abridged, mind you. It's nowhere near as big. In fact, Dragon Quest 2 is about 4 times as big as Dragon Quest 1, but it's there. By the way, the world that this place takes place in is Torren, and they misspelled treasures! If you're wondering what those are for, that's for a side... not really a side quest, it's required if I recall correctly. But you need to talk to some guys to know it's there. I already know it's there, though, so I'm going to directly take it to where we need to take it. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think the name of the world is overall Torren. Don't quote me on that, though. And the guy we need to take the treasures to, because it's not treasures, it's treasures, is actually here in Laneport. Where is he? Well, we need to get on our ship again to find him. And I'm gonna give the treasures to Peta, or I can't tell, is that Peta or Peta? Because, well, My main character's inventory is getting kind of cluttered. By the way, well, after I did the gold grinding, I made sure I had enough to buy up to five medical herbs and one antidote herb, just in case, for the next dungeon. Because especially if you're, like, towards level 13, which you might likely be at this point, the next area probably will kill you. And proof of concept with return when the ship follows you. There it is. And our next destination is a place that I hated back in Dragon Quest 1. But you'll see that later. I'm not sure why I'm showing this. Oh well. But the next destination is Charlock Castle from the original game. Oh boy. Thankfully we have more than one person, so the enemies probably won't be as hard, right? Right? No. They're still fairly difficult. Didn't miss this place at all. They even bring back the Dragon Quest 1 cave theme, unless they've been using this one the entire time and I just haven't been paying attention. Although the beginning, I will say, is fairly linear. In fact, I think a lot of the floor arrangements are fairly similar to the actual ones in the game. And hey, a basilisk! Why aren't you at Hogwarts? Basilisks are pretty much the same as the big cobras, except they have 38 HP, can drop a fairy water, which is essentially a repel item, and they can obviously poison you as well. And we got two new enemies here, Gorgons, which have 26 HP, can drop fairy waters. They can put you to sleep, and you can put them to sleep as well very easily. And then we got Mummy Men. Mummy Men have around 46 HP, can drop clothes. I'm not sure why a near halfway point of the game enemy can drop the first equipment item in the game, but okay. And, I don't think they can really do anything other than just attack you. As far as I'm aware, at least. Although I will say one thing about Charlock Castle. They did abridge it. It's nowhere near as long as it was in the first game, or maze-like, and it's actually fairly linear. There's only really one split path you can take, no, two split paths, but even then, one of them leads to the exact same place. The hallways are certainly wider since the last time I was here. Huh, guess 100 years will do that. This is where the first split path is. If you head to the left there, you'll find another staircase, but the one I'm taking is shorter. I have gone out of my way to do a step count off-screen, just in case. And here's where the other one is. The one on the left leads towards the end of the dungeon. However, I want to head up these middle ones first. Because if you might have noticed, there was a chest earlier in the dungeon right here that I wanted to get, but first, new enemy, Saber Tiger. 25 HP, can drop a copper sword, and these guys hurt. Not only are they physically powerful, but they are fast. That's around this point in the game where enemies start being able to do 2 attacks per turn. And that's not nice. Thankfully, Zale is really high-leveled. Infernos is your best option when it comes to big parties, as I've shown it multiple times. Because PETA's magic set really does get high towards the end of the game. Okay, let's get rid of those clothes. I'm gonna throw my clothes off if you catch my drift. But anyway, here's the reason we went up this way first. The Sword of Erdrick. Remember that from the first game? Fun little fact, by the way, it has the exact same power it did back in the first game. 40. And it's a pure upgrade for the main character. In the Game Boy Color version, the Prince of Cannock can equip it as well, I believe. There were equipment items you could have bought for the main character back at Tentacle, but this is just a better weapon overall. Plus, it's a family heirloom. Why aren't you going to get it? And once you reach this area, it's pretty much a straight shot to the end of the dungeon. In fact, I think this is entirely optional. Unless talking to someone at the end of this does trigger something, in which case I'm not aware of that. Huh, left. That's a change. Hey, this looks familiar. Like in the first game, those little ice-like tiles do damage you when you step on them. And the treasure chests there, they do contain items, but it's insignificant and honestly not needed, so I'm not even gonna attempt to backtrack through the place. Hey, what the... The Dragon Lord? Didn't I kill you last game? Nope, he's the grandson. And you gotta give us some advice. But we are surely missing our brains. I like that line. That's actually another thing. First off, he's gonna tell us our next stuff is to seek 5 crests and seek a good wizard Rubus south of Middenhall. That's for progression's sake. One thing I'm not going to be showing off is anytime after you get the Princess of Moonbrook, you can actually head back to Moonbrook Castle and talk to her father's spirit to get some extra dialogue. Which includes a really bad joke about being fired from his job. Oh boy. Dragon Quest and your puns. Ugh. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we'll be continuing on, seeing if we can find anything to do in this world, because at this point in the game, the world just opens up to you completely, so... exploration time, baby. See you guys then.